You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at International City Theater for their presentation of The 39 Steps. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Louis Flatordo, and I'm an equity actor working on the 39 Steps here at ICT. This is my 6th production of the 39 Steps, and so I know the play a little bit, and this is my 3rd time doing the production with the director, Jamie Torcellini, and I have to say that in all the times I've done it, and I'm not just saying this because this is the cast is around me, but this is probably, I would have to say, the strongest of the productions that I've done in terms of everybody just putting in their all, their hearts, and they're so talented and gifted. I feel really blessed to have this particular cast of individuals to work with.
And what did you do tonight? Which characters did you play?
Well, I'm listed in the program as man number 1, and my compatriot is man number 2, and we are the characters in the play that, other than the lead hero, Richard Hannay, and the woman plays 3 different characters, but we play everything else, from female innkeepers to gangster heavy types to old men. We cross genders. We play a multitude of characters. We probably play about 40 characters each. My compatriot in arms, or my partner in clown, as I like to say.
I loved it. First of all, every now and then you'll see a theater piece where one guy plays like 7 parts, where you played like 40 parts. I love those characters because it's so challenging. They spin on a dime. Yeah. They have to put different voices, different accents, different movements, different mannerisms in each character.
That's right. The trick and the challenge and the joy is to make them as distinct and specific as possible, and then, like you just said, spin on a dime so that it seems magical, that there's an actual transformation of a person's inner life happening right in front of the audience. And what's exciting about this piece is not just that, but because it's so minimal and so clever in its inventiveness, because of the minimal props and set, it really gets to the core of what theater does so much better than every other medium out there, because it engages the audience's imagination and their suspension of disbelief and storytelling. And the fact that we start with a bare stage and 4 actors, and we take everybody on this exciting adventure story and this journey, and everybody is hanging on the edge of their seats, wanting to know what's going to happen. And there's train chases and airplane dogfights, and there's all this stuff that happens along the journey. It's exhilarating for the audience, and it's exciting and exhilarating for the actors to try to make those quick changes. In every night, it's a challenge. I mean, I tell people, for the clowns or the guys that play all the other roles, like me and my partner Bo, we start the show and it's non-stop. We never get a break. So even if we're off stage, we're not in the wings, taking a cigarette break. We're actually quick changing into the next costume. So when we start the play at 8, it's a non-stop marathon until we come down at 10:15. We literally get no breaks. I'm downing like 2 64-ounce bottles of Gatorade during a show, and I'm still thirsty afterwards.
Yeah. As an actor, do you develop an arc for a story like this?
It's interesting. John Buchan wrote a beautiful blueprint for this play, and the trap for something like this is to play for the laughs and play for the silliness and play for the shtick. What the director Jamie did, which was really good, he loved taking the time to come up with all these funny bits, but he would be the first person to, what I like to say, kill his babies. If something was not serving the story and not moving the story along, and we were just sitting and being indulgent in trying to be funny, he would cut it. We would trim it back, and we've done a lot of that in terms of honoring the forward momentum of the story and never losing sight of the heart of the piece, and that is the central character of Hannay and what's happening around him, and the fight, the inner struggle for him in wanting a better life. That lovely speech in the Assembly Hall, plays at the crux of this piece. And you heard the audience tonight. they were shouting out, yes, that's the kind of world we want, because of the idealism that he is spouting in his character. It sweeps you up, and it realizes, you realize, yeah, we want the good guy to win.
Well, I agree with you. I've seen 39 Steps several times, and this was the best I've ever seen. So you guys are fantastic.
Oh, that's very, very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love that. First of all, it was hilarious. It was suspenseful. It was romantic at times.
Yep.
And it was just very endearing and very entertaining.
Oh, that's great. We wanted to, tell the story, also emulate the style of the period in that iconic Hitchcockian way with the iconic romantic blonde, protagonist that is the lure of the male hero and the love story, and then all the surreal, bizarre characters that are swirling around their storyline. And so it really takes you on a journey, and I think the audience, again, is as exhilarated as we are by doing it.
Once again, I love your performance. You're fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show.
All right, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and see it, and spread the word, and I hope people come out and see it. It's only playing for 3 short weekends, and it would be a shame to be missed.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Bo Foxworth. I'm an actor. I live in Los Angeles. I've been working pretty consistently in the surrounding theaters, South Coast Rep, Noise Within, Antius, The Fountain. I'm thrilled to be in this production of 39 Steps, which is, a marathon every night. I think I'm losing about 15 pounds by the time this is over. But it's a delight to do, and this kind of physical comedy is just not done very much except plays like this. I mean, it used to be a rite of passage back in the day, and I'm thrilled to be keeping it alive.
And which characters do you play?
Good luck on that. I play 120 characters in the play. I play 45 to 50 of them. I play a rock and a bush, and I play a lot of old Scottish guys, cops, and women and wives, and it is chaos.
So, what's your take on what you do? Is it? Is it classic clowning? Is it pantos or?
I'd say it's vaudeville mixed with a little classic clown. I had Bill Irwin teach me some things back in the day in grad school, and I've worked with a lot of amazing clowns and mask teachers.
I loved your performance. I thought it was fantastic because in theater pieces, it's like every performance is different. Well, also it's very demanding on the actors. So this is kind of like, why do you want to see 39 Steps? Is because of these actors, and you were outstanding. You were fantastic.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's why I do it. I love to make people laugh, and there's no greater pleasure for me, honestly.
I've seen 39 Steps played by other theaters and all. Why is it such a theater piece? I mean, it was directed by Alfred Hitchcock. It was black and white. It was a movie. It was never really a play.
It's not a theater piece. It is a movie, basically. I mean, you see how the scenes just run together, and they're very filmic, and the planes and the puppets and the running through, And the only way to pull something off like that is to do it as this kind of piece, this heightened, over-the-top, theatrical. It's a movie, but that everyone recognizes, and the body of work of Hitchcock, and so why not do a piece like this? Do it in this fashion. I think it is extremely theatrical, but it's a movie.
Well, I love the performance. I loved you in particular. And again, I recommend this because I've seen 39 Steps several times. But this cast is fantastic. You've never seen it?
I'd never seen it, no. I was lucky to be doing it with Louis Latordo and Jamie, the director, who've both done it numerous times. And I had just done Shakespeare in Love with down at South Coast Rep with Louis. We were both in that together, and he called me and said, I'm doing the 39 Steps. I would love for you to do it with me. And when you find another actor that you work with and have that sort of relationship with, it's amazing. I can't think of it's why I got into this business, to make these kind of connections and friendships and relationships as an actor. They were my family.
Once again, really loved your performance. I thought it was fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Marcus. I'm KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
Hi, this is Ashley Morton. Tonight was opening night for the 39 Steps at International City Theater, and it went really well, I think.
Great. And which character did you play?
I play 3 characters. I play Annabella Schmidt, I play Pamela Edwards, and I play Margaret. They're all very, very different. Annabella is a mysterious spy, a German spy, so she's got kind of a secretive, purposeful flair to her, and then Pamela is very political and proper English woman who just wants to do the right thing, and Margaret's a very sweet, young Scottish lass, just a farm girl. She's very cute.
I love your performance tonight. First of all, you just delved into those characters. They had distinct accents, distinct mannerisms, distinct habits and movements. Also loved your comedic timing, and you were very witty and charming also.
Thank you so much. It was a good time. I think it helps when the audience reacts in a positive way and kind of fuels the energy.
Great. If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh my gosh, they should expect to see surprises around every corner, quick changes faster than if you blink you'll miss it, and some good old-fashioned romance.
I love the piece. I thought it was very well done. It was very theatrical. Again, the acting was fantastic. And for a piece like this, the acting really matters. I've seen 39 Steps before. It's a totally different piece depending on the actors. It's kind of like it's your tour de force. You can be anything you want to be. You can be fantastic. You can be sloppy. You can be slow. You guys were fantastic tonight.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
You're here with Eric Wentz. So I'm originally from Wisconsin. I went to school in New York at Juilliard, studied drama there for 4 years, and then moved out here, and I've been living in LA for, a little over 10 years. And this is my second show with ICT. I did Silent Sky, late summer, early fall, and I saw you there for that as well. And so I'm happy to be back at ICT. It's a great theater.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
So I play a character named Richard Hannay. So he's actually Canadian, but culturally he's very British. You know, he's sort of a failure to launch, a bachelor. He's 37 years old. He's at a point in his life where all of his chums that he would socialize with in high society in London, they've all kind of settled down, or one of them was eaten by crocodiles in Africa, and so. But he finds himself by himself for the first time, and he ends up falling into this crazy story of spies and espionage, and he kind of finds himself at the end.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was very crazy. It was. I thought at times it was romantic. It was very funny. It was very suspenseful in terms of Hitchcock, and it was actually very entertaining also.
Well, that's great to hear. Yeah, it's kind of surprising when I read the adaptation or the script for this. I felt like, wow, they didn't really change a whole lot from the Hitchcock film and that script. But once we got into rehearsal, it became very clear that this was a very different beast. I wouldn't want to say it's necessarily a parody, but there's some parody elements to it. And but it's very heavy on the physical comedy and the sight gags, and just kind of like really good old-fashioned theater, what makes theater so great. You know, the suspension of disbelief, the fast character changes and this and that. And I know my character was a little more of the grounded protagonist. You know, we had a couple of other my castmates had a ton of costume changes, Bo and Lewis and Ashley as well. And but I was basically on stage the whole time, but no character changes. So I was the kind of the lame duck of the group. No, but it was such a pleasure to collaborate with these people.
Actually, again, you're from Juilliard, so you understand classical clowning and all that. This piece, again,
well, I wouldn't say I understand, but I've taken classes, and I'm in awe of a real classic clown, not the Barnum and Bailey stuff, but sort of the Bill Irwin-esque kind of stuff. The things that are more roots in the French clown. Yeah. I'm sorry, you were saying?
No. Well, basically, first of all, I respect how challenging it is, because comedy is all timing, and with the costume change, with the sight gags, with the physicality, it's all it was all perfectly timed tonight.
Oh, well, thank you. That's great to hear. I mean, I still think there's a lot of tightening up that we can do. I mean, it's such a beast of a play and a production, but we're so lucky to have people who are experienced in this. Our director, Jamie, this is, I think, his second or third production of this show, and given the very short rehearsal period that we had for this never would have been able to come together without him really understanding the piece and having a great vision for it, as well as one of our fellow castmates, Lewis. This is like his sixth production of this. He's done so many before. And it was just so helpful to have those people on board to sort of guide us and identify what this beast is. But it's hard to believe that it's already up and running, but it's exciting, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really loved it. I also liked your acting into it. The perfect straight man. The deadpans, the sight gags and all that, and you have to be involved in the timing also. And also you wanted your character so well. It was a romantic character. It was a smooth character, very charming, very witty also. I really loved the way you played it.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and it's hard when you're around with the other characters that are sort of in a different energy, a different world, the clown sort of a thing, to not try to fight them or not try to get, because it's the yin and the yang, you know what I mean, and you have to kind of balance it out, and it's a challenge, when the audience is all laughing at their crazy buffoonery, to remain grounded and know when you can sort of dip your toes in that water and then come back to help really keep everything grounded. So, but yeah, thank you for those very kind words. Yeah.
Okay. Well, once again, I really loved the performance. I loved you in it also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
The 39 Steps will be playing at International City Theater from June 20th to July 8th. For more information, go to www.internationalcitytheater.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Brick House Theater for the world premiere of Their Finest Hour, Churchill and Murrow. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Will Mannis. I'm the playwright of Their Finest Hour, Churchill and Murrow.
So, question, why did you decide to write this piece?
Well, I was given a book some years ago to review called Murrow's Boys, and it's about Murrow and his great team of radio journalists. And part of the story took place in London, and I realized he had a relationship with Churchill that wasn't very well known. That was the basis of the play, which really took off when I learned that Murrow had an affair with Churchill's daughter-in-law, Pamela.
Are you a journalist yourself?
I have been all my life, but began mostly as a novelist, and I've been writing plays for the past, 20 years or so.
So I'm curious, what's your thought on Edward R. Murrow? Do you think of him as being a role model?
A role model? Yes, he was a role model. This love affair aside, he was a great, distinguished journalist, and when he came back to the United States, he stood up against McCarthy and defended some people of his radio correspondents who were going to be blacklisted because of the Red Scare. He was a very upright guy that you could say maybe had this flaw, having this adulterous relationship with Pamela, but that's a small stain on a very, very great giant figure.
However, I feel this piece as being somewhat unflattering to them. Even unflattering to say Winston Churchill. He didn't seem so iconic, so great.
Well, I mean, you have to show all sides of human beings if you can. And Churchill was a great person, but he did a lot of terrible things in his life as a politician and, in the army and so forth. And Murrow was not perfect either. But, nobody is really perfect, and these people certainly weren't. Yet, at the same time, if you take the long view of it, you realize how heroic they were.
Well, I really enjoyed the piece. I thought it was historically very important, but also I felt that it also dealt into their personal lives. Gave it a bit of I would maybe say a bit of a soap opera touch to it, because they led lives that were basically about affairs and about scandal and very, very interesting lives.
It wasn't so much scandal, but they certainly had adulterous affairs. Look, it was also during the war, and personal relations change a lot in wartime when you think you might be dead. In an instant, you might have an affair with a woman, or vice versa, a woman have an affair with a man, when you might not have had that affair in peacetime, but you feel, hell, this is my last time on earth, I'll take a fling.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed myself. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Michael Carm. I've been a professional since I'm 11, and I've been acting. I've done several shows on Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway, tours, TV, radio, commercials, film, and been directing for many years. And that's how I know Stu Berg, who's directing our play, and also Will from the Actors Studio, and from the Directors Unit, and from the Playwright Directors Unit. So they asked me if I could do a British accent, and that's how it started, my journey into Winston Churchill land. He's the most popular over anyone else in British history, over Princess Di, and over everyone. He's number one. And so he came through after many, many years, because he was the one, it was his destiny to lead the people through the war.
I really love your presentation of Winston Churchill. You really nailed him. You didn't make him so unattainable that it was out of reach. You brought in his foibles, his weaknesses, him trying to deal with his personal life just would not work.
Well, he was very emotional. He cried in public with his family and friends, and this is a different slice that Will created in Murrow's relationship with Churchill's daughter-in-law, Pamela. It's not spoken about, and it only states in research that they had an affair. But this story is about their affair and Winston's involvement and his almost fatherly feeling toward Murrow, toward Edward Murrow, and his care about him. And there is a lot of manic-depressive behavior, and I've done a lot of research and tried to show that.
Yeah, basically, when I look at the piece, basically, it's not a piece about war, even though it was about war, but it's not exactly about war. It's more about the two people and their family lives. Right. So it's not about, you're not going to hear Winston Churchill saying, he did say his great speeches, which you did beautifully, you did fantastically. But it wasn't about, again, the Battle of Normandy. It wasn't about, this guy conquering the world. It was actually about a human being and his families.
Yes, this is a very human, very kind of humane treatment that goes on behind the scenes, and that's what's interesting about it, and that's what theater can do, and that's the beauty of it, that the audience can see and feel and hear what's going on, and they're very close, and so they're part of the fabric of what is taking place right before them. And it's moment to moment, and they're in it. And that's the beauty of theater. And that's the beauty of this play.
Well, I love your performance of Winston Churchill. I thought it was spot on. It was perfect. It couldn't be done any better.
No, thank you kindly.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Tyler Cook from Northern California. Came down to LA about 11 years ago. Been doing stage, TV, and film ever since then, and having a blast.
Great. And which character you play tonight?
Edward R. Murrow. I think he's a fantastic individual. I think a lot of people had this idea that he is the voice of radio, and he was a complicated guy. He wanted to express to the world, especially America, not to sit around when other people were struggling, that people needed to be informed. He enjoyed getting out there and really living life. He went on about 25 air raids, and after you've been on one, apparently, they're all kind of the same, but he kept going for it because he wanted to experience that. He never went down into a shelter because he didn't want to get comfortable down in them. He occasionally would he went down and interviewed some people, but he didn't stay in them when the bombing was happening. I think he was an incredible man.
I'm a journalist myself, so I'm very well taken with Edward R. Murrow. And in a sense,
how was it?
Well, I loved your performance, and also I love your voice. You have a beautiful voice, a beautiful radio voice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have a face for radio. I get that a lot.
I'm very envious of it, though. But actually, also one thing I noticed, because I'm also in radio, is we're human beings. I mean, even though Edward R. Murrow is iconic, he's like a page in history, but he's nevertheless a human being.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, he's incredible. The fact that he loved his work, and it really was about the truth. He didn't want people like Murrow's boys and everything. He was a little bit chastised in the beginning, apparently, because a lot of his reporters, they didn't sound like a reporter, but that wasn't what he wanted. He wanted to have people that knew what they were doing, as opposed to somebody who can act, make it sound like they knew what they were doing. And I think that's something that we constantly need to be reminded of. It's not about looking a part or acting a part. It's like you wouldn't hire a refrigerator mechanic that's going to act like a refrigerator mechanic. You want somebody who knows what they're doing, and that's what he was about. And he pushed that, and he encouraged it. So, like in the show, when we say with Charles, how was his report? It was fantastic. He told the truth, and that is our job. So, yeah, I respect the man.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
A love story, just a strong love story about a mixed-up guy trying to figure out how to play tennis. But no, you're going to see a fantastic story about World War II and a lot of behind the scenes of what's going on. So I think they can expect to see an exciting journey of behind the scenes of Edward R. Murrow and Churchill and Pamela and Charles and all that. I think they'll enjoy it. For me, it was informative and fun, and I feel like it moved well.
I basically felt that it was basically about two legends, about Churchill and also Edward R. Murrow, and basically being human beings. They having their problems. I mean, when you see Churchill, you actually saw his flaws. When you saw Edward R. Murrow, you're thinking, so that's what he's really like. You know what I mean? He's not this cartoon. And again, it dealt with romance, dealt with heartbreak, and it was a very enjoyable piece of theater.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think you prove a good point. I think a lot of times people will put other people on a pedestal and find them to be unobtainable, but then once you kind of realize everyone is human, everyone has their own issues, it makes things not so daunting, and yet you can relate to your heroes. You can relate to them on that level. So, yeah, I agree with what you said. Absolutely.
And I also really enjoyed your performance. I loved your radio voice. I loved your presentation. I loved your acting also.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Chantel Elbers. I'm an actress. I live in Los Angeles, but I'm from North Dakota. I actually went up there, and I've been doing theater my whole life. I have a BFA, and then I came down to Los Angeles, and I work in film, TV, and theater.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I played Pamela Churchill Harriman. Well, the thing is with Pamela, she's a bit of a survivalist because she did have a golden string of lovers, as Stu had said, and as it is in the script as well. But her thing was, you have to realize she was a woman of the 40s, and women back then were more suppressed. I think that women today even can kind of relate to just the social aspects and the social stigma that they put on men versus women. And Pamela really is a survivalist. She eventually became the French ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to France under Bill Clinton's ruling. So she did actually move up in the ranks quite a bit. But in this play, I think it shows how she is tender. She's a survivalist, but she's very hardened. But she's hardened because she has to be.
Their finest hour, Churchill and Murrow, will be playing at the Brick House Theater from June 16th to July 22nd. For more information, go to www.rightactrep.org.